When most people think of Europe, they think of beautiful scenery and amazing architecture. Or they may think of great spiritual movements, the Apostle Paul's Macedonian call to come over and help us. Or of giants of the faith, Martin Luther, John Calvin, or the sweeping evangelism and discipleship of John Wesley. Or the devastation of wars. Most people don't think of Europe as unreached, or as the least reached continent in the world. Of the 731 million people of Europe, less than 2% would be engaged Christ followers, leaving 716 million yet to be reached. This continent, once ignited by the power of the Holy Spirit, this continent once responsible for sending the gospel to the Americas, Africa, and the far reaches of Asia, would now be described as spiritually apathetic at best. Europe, most aptly, could be described as a prodigal continent. In the past 200 years, it is the only continent where the number of Christ followers has actually dropped. Some countries have experienced a decrease in church attendance from 50% to less than 2% in just the past 30 years. Growing numbers of Muslim nationals and immigrants increasingly change the spiritual complexion of many European countries. Many have written Europe off. Some would say we should focus our efforts where obvious fruitfulness is occurring. Europe has had its chance. But that's not the heart of the Father toward the prodigal. The Father watches and waits and longs for the prodigal to return. It is to this prodigal continent that Global Partners has sent 40% of its mission force to engage in reaching people for Christ. We serve 11 of the 50 countries of Europe in the fourfold mission of Global Partners: evangelism, church planting, leadership development, and ministries of compassion. We're in places like Albania, reaching to the poorest in a swamp where 50,000 squatters live in survival mode without childcare, medical care, or the care of Christ. In many of our countries, we offer English programs, spanning easy access conversation clubs to professional English schools in order to build relationships and offer Christ. Through sports, we connect with individuals and teams on our fields. Outreach through the arts is a new focus on one field. In Poland, our leadership development program has been recognized by the government as so effective that they have asked our pastor to train their leaders, including faith elements. Camps for teens, children, families, and athletes have been effective on our fields. Campers have been impacted by countless workers who have lived out the life of Christ. Churches have been planted in 8 of our countries, with Bible studies as the first form of churches in the other countries. The work is ever-changing in a cultural dynamic shaped by the devastation of wars, communism and post-communism, civil unrest, consumerism, and economic stress. In the midst of these cultures is a force of missionaries and national believers striving to be the hands and feet, the voice and heart of Christ to everyone they meet. But we can't do this apart from your partnership of praying, giving, and going. We need your focused prayers to achieve our mission of establishing a church planting movement in Europe. We need your partnership to get already commissioned missionaries to the fields where God has called them to serve. This remains our most important financial need. We have opportunities for launching or empowering special projects in several countries, including the securing of ministry centers for our national churches in Croatia, the Czech Republic, and Poland. The translation of Wesleyan theological works in key European languages, the funding of a medical clinic and daycare center in Albania, the ongoing training of pastors through conferences and events, and the development of a church planting initiative to train church planters and teams. Many of these projects require partnering short-term teams to assist in fulfilling the work. As a field, the missionary and national workers wish to express our gratitude to all who have invested in reaching this prodigal continent. Together, we long to hear the words of the Father from Luke 15:24. Rejoice with me, for this son of mine was dead and is alive again. He was lost and is found.